Hi, if we've never met before, my name is Rachel, and I like to talk about how to help people transform their lives. I have done a lot of work to change myself, and I've learned a lot, and I like to share that with people. So I do have a friend over here, if you see her. And I have another friend actually over there. But as what often happens is I was in the shower thinking of messages I want to share with people one day, and this was a very specific examples came through. So if I go back a little bit in my head where I want to start this, it's like pick an area you want to change your life in. So if you want better relationships, right, which means more love, intimacy, connection, whatever. If you want to work on your physical health, physical body, money, career, business, whatever it is. If you want to go at it from the spiritual route, which is not needed, but something that was a part of my journey was I actually had that, and I brought it to a leader in my religious, I don't love the word religion, spiritual experience, and she was like, well, if you want to improve one area of your life, what if you chose to raise your vibration, raise your energy in all areas of your life? Choose to raise your vibration, and then all areas of your life will improve. So that is one thing you can focus on if you want to raise your energy, your frequency. Basically, you want to hide your face again? Okay. Basically, you have chosen specific habits and patterns over time that got you to this certain point. So if you want something different, you have to make a different choice. So I can only talk about from personal examples in my life, right? Like, for my health, I did make a lot of changes to my diet, healed my gut. Then I also had energies and frequencies, like I had parasites in my body at one point. I had arsenic built up in my body. I've used the example of, as I started to detox from arsenic, then I would drink water that had it in it again, and I would get an immediate headache and stomach ache, right? So I was like, my body was used to having it in my system and tissues. I had a red dot on my face for a long time. And then as I started to purge it or get rid of it or support my body in detoxing from it, as soon as it would come back into my body, I would have these physical symptoms. I only had 2 relationships in my life, and the first one, I think there was that self-sabotage or like anxious attachment. And then the second one, I wasn't at that same point that I was, because I definitely did a lot of work already, but there were new lessons that I needed to learn about, just codependency or trauma or being connected in a relationship. Now I'm finally at the point where I'm like, okay, I really want to be independent, and the kind of relationship that I need will need to be interdependent. Like, I'm basically my own person. I'm okay without a person, and if and when I choose to be with someone, I'm still doing my thing, but together we're better. Like, that's kind of the only type of relationship that I'll be able to have and sustain, and someone to be with that also understands that, because I'm not doing the codependent thing anymore. So if you look at your life, again, relationships or health, whatever it is, you have to start making incremental changes. So the example I always use is when someone does a New Year's resolution of, I'm going to the gym at 5 a.m. every day and only eating salads. That works for like 2 weeks, and then, quote, regular life stuff starts to happen again, and then they fall back to the old habits and patterns that they know that they've been doing for years and years, because those are easier. Our brain likes to be on autopilot. It doesn't like to think super duper hard. So if we look at this from a how do I actually change perspective, if you drink 3 sodas a day, maybe the next day you only drink 2.5. Maybe that next week you go down to 2. Like, that's the type of incremental change that I'm talking about. Or in a relationship or friendships or whatever it is. I would say, like, make yourself small and kind of filter what you say to someone, but you always have the same result of, you know, not feeling close to someone or craving more intimacy or more connection, then maybe you have a vulnerable conversation with them and say, hey, I have had this certain pattern in my life in the past, and I want to feel deeper and connected as I move forward in my life. Therefore, I'm going to share something very vulnerable with you. I ask that you hold space for it. It might be a lot to take in and hear. If you're not able to take it all in, thank you for listening, and we might need space after. Maybe we need to have a scarier conversation. You know, like, you have to do these teeny tiny baby steps to really move forward in your life if you want something different. Was there anything else that I wanted to pull through? Oh, I mean, yeah, just personally, like, I watched a YouTube video today where he was like, if you, again, he used examples from his life, but if you want big dreams, you have to break it down into baby steps. So he's like, I had ADHD growing up, so I couldn't focus on anything for more than 5 to 10 minutes at a time. So that's what I did to get through like grad school, master's degree, I don't know. So that was cool. And then as he kind of worked through his career, and then for fun, he started to sew. And then he was like sewing, and he saw a tree, and he's like, that tree would be cool covered with yarn. And then he did that, and then he worked on bigger projects. And now he just worked on a crochet thing that was like 10 by 10 meters or something. That was actually when the video came out, which was, I don't know, probably years ago. But then he was like, oh, one year I set a resolution to read 50 books, but that's a lot and overwhelming, right? So what he did to achieve that is he would notice when he was scrolling for 5 minutes, oh, okay, I just had to pick up a book and read a word of it. Not even a paragraph, not even a sentence. It was word by word. So it's the same thing if you want any change in any area of your life. For the money and career, business, whatever, if you've felt like you've gotten always overlooked, never made enough, you know, you're not doing something you're passionate about, whatever. Okay, well then maybe today after work you reflect on what you are passionate about. What do you actually like doing? What are your natural gifts? What kinds of causes are you actually drawn to? If you've always looked overlooked or gotten overlooked with money, promotions, whatever, have a real conversation with yourself. Why aren't you ready to step into that next level or identity of a CEO or that person that has that promotion that you want? What are they doing that you're not doing yet? Right? Our brain doesn't like to do that because our ego wants to keep us protected and keep us safe. So it is uncomfortable if we have to be very radically honest with ourselves. But that's how you actually shift and transform. For money, I'm big on money mindset and wealth mindset, and I'm working on that because I know that I am here to be rich and very wealthy and well-resourced. Okay, well, what tells me that I shouldn't be? Oh, rich people are bad, you know, like all these disempowering stories and beliefs about money. If you have a very needy relationship with money, energetically, it's pushing it away, right? No one likes that needy energy. That's coming from survival and lack instead of abundance. There's enough, there's an overflow. You know, I know that there's going to be more coming to me. I can have opportunities. I take big leaps of faith. It's all connected. It's all working out for me. So I hope those are helpful. Let me know if there's something you want to see next. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Bye.